Welcome to Tea with Tanya. I'm your host, Tanya Ambrose, an average millennial navigating life as a maternal health professional, nonprofit founder, and grad student. Join me in the tea tasting room where we spill the tea on finding balance and promoting positive living while doing it all. Hey friend, welcome back to another episode of Tea with Tanya. I'm your host Tanya, and I am happy to be back here in the tea tasting room with you for another week of an amazing episode. I hope you have done something for yourself within the last week since we last met here in the tea tasting room, because you know how we do it here in the tea tasting room. You have to do something that's going to make you proud, make you happy, or bring some semblance of peace to your life. So I hope you've done that. For me, I've been a bit under the weather since I returned from Antigua, but I've just been honestly sipping on a lot of ginger and peppermint tea to get my throat right, to get my mind right, just to, of course, be cozy, but to heal myself as well. And I am feeling much better. I'm like 98%, so I'm hoping this week can make it a full 100. But again, I hope you've done something for yourself to bring some sort of peace and joy to your life. On today's episode, as we wrap up the month of October, because as we know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I also want to encourage you, my friend, that even when October ends and we move into November and December, you should still be continuing your self-breast examinations on yourself, because again, that will give you an opportunity or a chance to prevent anything from happening or for you to have the best outcome. Because again, who knows your body more than you? No one, not even your doctor. You are the one that know your body more than anyone else. So keep doing these checks. Keep looking for anything that's going to be abnormal across your body so you can, of course, see your provider to ensure that everything is on the straight and narrow. So again, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but it continues even after October. In October as well, we celebrated Period Action Day, and that's what I'm here to talk to you about today on the podcast. We're going to be talking about how to advocate for menstrual rights and become a change maker in your community. Now, I'm sure you're probably thinking, Tanya, how can I become a change maker? What are you talking about when it comes to menstrual rights? And that's why I'm here, because I think in today's day and age and over a period of time, we don't often talk about menstrual health or menstrual rights being a human right as well, because you know what, it is a natural way of living for those who menstruate, yes, but there's so many different things and disparities that are happening across the world that we often overlook because sometimes some issues don't directly impact us, and when that's the case, we tend to not give it the attention that it needs. So we're going to talk about the importance of menstrual rights. I will share some tools, maybe some strategies for effective advocacy, and highlight the amazing work that's being done here at my nonprofit organization, Scrub Life Cares. Now, menstrual rights, I want us to understand what that is. It's about ensuring that everyone who menstruates has access to the products, the education, and the support they need. Like I mentioned a while ago, unfortunately, my friend, menstrual health is something that is often overlooked, and that bothers me. And because it's often overlooked, it leads to significant disparities across various communities. And one thing that I'm proud of is that Scrub Life Cares, we've been working tirelessly behind the scenes to address these issues by providing menstrual products. But outside of that, we also ensure that we are providing a comprehensive reproductive and sexual health education, especially to those in underserved communities. Because one thing I've noticed is that there is a lack in knowledge when it comes to menstrual hygiene, menstrual health, and that's not no fault of myself or you listening, my friend. It's just that, again, it's something that's not often talked about. But what I found interesting, especially during my research, because of course I am a nonprofit founder working in this space, I have to always keep abreast of what's going on in the world. But the World Health Organization calls for menstrual health to be recognized, framed, and addressed as a health and human rights issue, not a hygiene issue. So they call for several actions, and one is to recognize and frame menstrual health as a health issue, not a hygiene issue. So it's considered a health issue with physical, psychological, and social dimensions. One that needs to be addressed in the perspective of a life course. So that's from before menarche to after menopause. And the next one that they highlight also is that to recognize that menstrual health means that women and girls and other people who menstruate have access to information, my friend, and education about it, to the menstrual products they need, the water, sanitation and disposal facilities, to competent and empathetic care when needed. to live, study, and work in an environment in which menstruation is seen as positive and healthy, not something to be ashamed of, and of course, to fully participate in work and social activities. Too many times, we don't have the conversation surrounding periods and menstruation because it's still taboo. It is still a negative stigma attached to the word period or menstruation. And I'm happy to see that, of course, the World Health Organization has reframed that menstrual health is a human right issue as well. And that's one of the things that I want you to understand, that you have to advocate for yourself and for others in the community as well. So because there is a big need for advocacy, and advocacy is crucial because of that menstrual stigma and period poverty that affects millions worldwide, my friend. I remember, I think I had a session, one of our sessions for Squad Life Kids, and a young lady mentioned to me that, she would miss school every month because her parents or her mom couldn't afford menstrual products. And of course, that broke my heart. Of course, we, ensured that we assisted her, but it broke my heart to see that, again, we live in a day and age, even though I know that the problem is there, just having someone share that vulnerable moment with me. This is just the reality for too many people across the world. And that's why it's so important that we work towards changing these policies that we have. Policies can help provide funding for menstrual products in school and public facilities, ensuring that no one has to choose between managing their period and their education or work, or having to choose between a utility versus essential basic needs such as a menstrual product as well. And I think as I continue my way through grad school, by the way, I graduate next May. I can't believe it's actually happening, but we'll talk about it another time. But, as my concentration is health services policy and management, and getting some experience in policy has been a godsend, has been a blessing that I'm able to continue to grow Scrub Life Cares and also partner with other organizations so that we can continue to spread the word around menstrual health as well. So I would say, to start advocating for menstrual rights, it's very important, my friend, to educate yourself. Educate yourself. I don't care what you think you know. You must educate yourself, especially if you are thinking or considering advocating for menstrual rights. Because, of course, if you menstruate, we all need to be advocating for yourself, but also others. There are so many great resources out there and organizations that are doing work in the community. So, you can engage your community, because that's very, very important. You can organize workshops, my friend, discussions, or even community drives to collect menstrual products and donate to a local organization that is doing the work in menstrual health. Or if you want to, donate to a shelter, a girl's home, whatever it is, I encourage you to engage in your community. We know social media, that's a powerful tool for advocacy. A very, very powerful tool. Creating impactful content and campaigns and initiatives can even reach a broader audience and spread awareness. And that's one of the things that I'm also proud of when it comes to Squad Life Kids. We've had success with our social media campaigns and initiatives. So I'm encouraging you, my friend, to leverage these platforms to amplify your voice, because it is important, it is needed. Now I want to talk about supporting policy changes, which is very important. So it's very important that you understand the legislative process, because that's the first step when it comes to policy advocacy. Policies that support, menstrual health can make a huge, huge difference, like providing free menstrual products in school. To advocate for policy changes, you have to contact your legislatures, your various parliamentarians, to ensure that they are seeing what's happening in the community. Join advocacy groups, and of course, participate in any organization that is doing work surrounding menstrual health as well. Collaboration is very, very important. And one of the things, again, that I am proud of Scrub Life Cares for is that it's always collaboration versus competition. We have no need to be competing with others, especially when we're doing similar work. Collaboration over competition. So when you collaborate with organization that amplifies your impact, you're able to push for policy change that supports menstrual health, and of course, provide funding for grassroots organizations that are doing work in the community. We've had the pleasure of partnering with the Red Pledge Initiative out of Antigua and Barbuda. I love working with them. We've collaborated with Feminine TT out of Trinidad, who's also doing amazing work surrounding menstrual health and comprehensive sexual health education. There's the Breadfruit Collective. There's just so many different things, so many organizations across the globe across the United States, across the Caribbean region who are doing similar work. So I encourage you to partner with them so that you can continue to push for policy changes that support your menstrual health. I think for me, when I think about how I got into this space as far as working in the menstrual reproductive health space, it's always been a passion. But of course, if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you know Scrub Life Case, my organization, was birthed from my study abroad trip to Uganda, where I saw that people are struggling, need help, and there's a lack of access to the education and to the products that they need, and I started advocating for myself. I started working with organizations here in South Carolina, back in Antigua, because again, I had a mission and I realized that there was a need. Very recent, this month of October, when I was in Antigua, we hosted a seminar so that we could understand the need of the community, how best we can serve those in the community as well. For me, whenever we do anything, I'm not doing it for a thank you. I'm doing it because it comes straight from my heart and I know there's a need and I want to help people. But getting the feedback from our recent event from individuals basically coming and telling me, Tanya, you're doing amazing work. I'm proud of you. I want you to go into this community, that community. It really puts things into perspective and see that, what, people are actually listening. Because let me tell you, breaking into Antigua, talking about periods, sex, and these different things is no easy feat, okay? It is no easy feat when you're having to do things like that in Antigua, who is essentially a Christian community. But no, we have to have these conversations because Christians, they're going to see period too. They're going to have sex. There's so many different things. And I pride ourselves on ensuring that we promote the health education that is needed so that one can thrive in their everyday life so that they can have optimal health and well-being as well. So that's very important for me. The different workshops, the expos, there's so many different ways, again, you can move to change policy, and of course it's going to benefit more students. So when you see organizations out here asking for donations by way of hygiene products, or even if it's monetary donations, you know where your money is going because there is a dire need. But because sometimes it doesn't directly impact you, you won't know. So I do encourage you, to partner with other organizations who are doing similar work in your community. You're welcome to partner with Scrub Life Case to do any work, because one of the things that we pride ourselves on is providing the education. The education comes first. Always, always, always. And of course, providing the basic essential hygiene needs that our menstruators need to carry about their daily life every time from month to month as well. So it's going to be a short episode because I wanted to talk about that because we have some amazing episodes coming up in November. But I want to point out that advocacy starts with you. I'm going to say it again, my friend. Advocacy starts with you. Advocacy starts with you. So whether it's educating yourself, engaging your community, or pushing for policy changes, your efforts can make a huge difference in the community. So I'm encouraging you. Your friend, Tanya, is encouraging you to take action and support menstrual rights advocacy. Please, my friend, it's very important. Our young girls are seeing menstruators, they're seeing their period earlier than before based on the data that we've been presented with. So, of course, I encourage you to just take that action. If you want to volunteer, of course, be sure to reach out to me on the podcast page or Scrub Life Cares if you want to volunteer, donate, and I'll put all of that in the show notes as well so you can be a part of the movement as well. So, my friend, thank you for joining me today on Tea with Tanya in the Tea Tasting Room. Your support and your involvement, honestly, it means the world to me. I don't often say thank you, but thank you doesn't even seem enough, honestly. So I want to encourage you again to advocate for those in the community because together, my friend, we can create a world where menstrual health is a right and not a privilege. I'm going to say it again. We can create a world where menstrual health is a right and not a privilege. Thank you for tuning in, and I can't wait to bring you some amazing episodes with some amazing guests coming up in the month of November. I love you for listening. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Tea with Tanya. If you like this episode, be sure to share it with a friend. Don't forget to follow on Instagram at Tea with Tanya Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the weekly Tea Talk newsletter. And of course, rate on Apple or Spotify and subscribe wherever you listen. See you next time. I love you for listening.